Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to episode 3 of Unit 11 for grade 10. In this episode, we will discuss writing and translation, and I will share with you some words and phrases that you can use to write perfect essays. Let's take a look at the main parts of an essay: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Now, you may ask yourself, what am I supposed to write in the introduction? There are two main things that you should write in the introduction, two important sentences. The first sentence is called the hook, and the second one is called thesis statement. And now you may ask yourself, what is the hook? The hook is the first sentence in the introduction. The reason we write a hook is to attract the attention of the reader. In real life, we use the hook to attract the fish towards us, right? To catch it. The same thing happens while writing. We want to catch the attention of the reader, so we use a hook. This sentence is called a hook because it has an attention grabber to make the reader want to read more. What about the thesis statement? The thesis statement is basically has the ideas and the topic that you will talk about throughout the essay. And also, the writer should state his or her opinion. Meaning, when the reader reads the thesis statement, they will know which side are you or what is your point of view regarding the topic you're writing about. Now, we knew the parts of the essay, and we know that the essay has 4 main paragraphs. So what are the parts of the paragraph? Each paragraph will have a topic sentence, followed by supporting ideas, and then concluded with a concluding sentence. What do I mean by a topic sentence? It's a sentence that has a topic and idea about this topic. And then the supporting ideas are supporting sentences that has more explanation for the topic you mentioned on the beginning. And then the concluding sentence is to inform the reader that you are wrapping up those ideas you mentioned earlier. So each essay will have 4 paragraphs, and each paragraph will have 3 main parts: the topic sentence, supporting ideas, and concluding sentence. Persuasive essays. From the word persuasive, usually when we want to persuade someone to do something or to convince them with an idea, we are basically transferring our ideas to his mind. So we are trying to make him believe in what we believe. In the persuasive essay, we want to influence the reader. We want them to believe us, to be on our side. It assumes the author's point of view. I have to mention my point of view regarding the topic I'm writing about. And then I have to provide evidence to convince the reader, not just mention my opinion. I have to convince them with evidence so that they will believe me. And then the statements mentioned in this essay is usually opinions, not facts, because I'm trying to persuade them with my ideas. If you ask me what good words I can use in this essay, I will say, if you have a point and you want to prove it, you may say, for instance, for example, specifically, in particular, namely, such as, and like. All these words will help you prove a point if you use them before mentioning your point. And if you want to introduce an example for the reader, you will say, for example, thus, as an example. In other words, if the reader reads those terms at the beginning, they will know that you are going to provide them with an example from real life. Also, if you want to show results for your ideas or purposes for your ideas, you can say, to this end, keeping this in mind, for this purpose, therefore. All these terms and word combinations are basically showing the reader that you are going to introduce a result or show them a purpose. If you are going to provide multi-information in this paragraph, you may use words like also. When the reader reads also, they know that there are more coming information in this paragraph. Furthermore, additionally, besides that, likewise, as a result, otherwise, however, all these words will show the reader that I have more to give you. I have more to show you. So those are useful words for giving information. What about concluding your essay or summarizing it? There are some phrases that are really useful and very informative. For example, with this in mind, as a result of, if you use as a result of, you're summing up all the things and giving a result at the end. Because of this, for this reason, so, due to, since, finally, in short, in conclusion, all these words will tell the reader that you are concluding and summarizing what you have said throughout the essay. What will you say to state and to inform and to persuade? You will use words like, I am certain, to show the reader that you're sure. I'm sure that you can see that. Make it obvious for them to see everything clear. What needs to be done? What we need to do. Also, incorporate the reader with you so they will understand more and be convinced. Sentences like, I'm writing in order to. Nevertheless, it has come to my attention that. Make everything you say obvious and common so the reader will feel persuaded. Obviously, surely, regardless, beginning the sentences with those words will help in understanding the whole purpose of this essay. Now, we said that each essay has a plan, and we call the plan an outline. An outline should include the introduction, the body has 2 paragraphs, and the conclusion. Let's take a look at the introduction. It needs a hook and thesis statement. The body 1 needs a topic sentence, supporting ideas, and concluding sentence, as well as the body 2, topic sentence, supporting ideas, and concluding sentence. In the conclusion, you have to restate your opinion and then summarize the whole thing. Follow those steps and you will write excellent outlines. Now, if you ask me, how do I put this on paper? I will tell you, use the tree strategy. It's very simple. The tree strategy is basically thinking about the letters of the word tree. T is for topic. You have to state your topic clearly so it's obvious for everyone who reads your essay what you're writing about. And then mention reasons. You have to present 2 or 3 reasons to convince the reader that you chose this topic because. And then explain furthermore your reasons. And at the end, you have to wrap it up. T-R-E-E, tree. Don't forget that. If I asked you to write about the following. In the past, people used to communicate by sending letters and telegraphs for instant messages. Nowadays, people can communicate using different modern means of communication. In 12 sentences, plan and write, and pay attention to planning, then writing. An essay persuading your friends that modern means of communication are better than old ones. Now, you see the sentence underlined, it has 2 main ideas. That the modern means of communication are better than the old ones. So you will speak about how modern communication is better than the old ones. Let's take a look at the outline for this question. We will start with the hook in the introduction. The hook is basically something to grab the attention of the reader. Let's raise questions and make the reader think more about the topic. This way, we'll grab their attention. Do you like old methods of communication more than the modern ones? So the reader will start to think about the differences between old ones and new ones, and they will want to read more. You will follow it by a thesis statement saying, for example, I personally believe that modern methods of communication are better than older ones. See here, I used the word personally because this is my opinion and I am stating my opinion. In body 1, I will discuss the first idea mentioned in the question, problems of old methods of communication, because I will persuade you that the modern ones are better. So first, I will mention the problems that the old methods have, saying letters and telegraphs took a long time. This is the first supporting idea. The second supporting idea is some letters would get lost. And then the third supporting idea is some handwriting was difficult to read. In paragraph 2, I will speak about the advantages of modern means of communication and show the reader and persuade them that the modern means of communication are way better than the old ones. The first supporting idea I will have is it is faster. The second one is everything is saved. And the third one, communication across continents. I will not worry about my letter reaching after days to the other country or the other continent. In the conclusion, as we said, restating and summarizing. So I will say modern means of communication have made our lives easier. You see how simple and clear the outline is? This is how your outline should look like. Introduction, body, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and then conclusion. If you wrote the outline correctly, you will automatically write the essay correctly. Let's take a look at the introduction. We will say, do you like old methods of communication more than the modern ones? In the past, people used to communicate using a variety of old methods of communication. But nowadays, modern means of communication have become widespread. I personally believe that modern means of communications are better than the old ones. Now look at this paragraph. Can you see where the hook is and where the thesis statement is? And what do they contain? This is exactly what you need, a hook and a thesis statement. Following the introduction is paragraph 1. Old means of communication were good, but had many flaws. First, letters and telegraphs took days and even weeks to reach their destinations. So we started with first. We're informing the reader that there are more coming things to read about. In addition, some of the letters got lost or destroyed. Lastly, some people's handwriting was difficult to read, which led to communication problems. You see here the sequence of the supporting ideas and then concluding the paragraph with a concluding sentence. This is how your paragraph 1 should look like. And then paragraph 2. However, modern means of communication have more positive aspects than negative one. So I'm using the word however to show you that this is better than that. Texting has allowed people to communicate with each other within seconds. So this is the first positive thing I'm mentioning. Also, our messages and emails are always saved. This is the second supporting idea. Last but not least, this is how I will wrap and conclude my paragraph. Last but not least, communicating with people from different continents has become possible because of modern means of communication. You see how clear and very informative? This is the right paragraph. Conclude your essay. Use concluding words and terms to conclude. In conclusion, those are all words indicates that you are ending and wrapping everything up. To conclude, modern means of communication have made our life easier. Although older means of communication help people communicate in the past, they will not be efficient in the present. I believe modern methods of communication will always be better. This is how your essay should look like. Very clear, 4 separate paragraphs. You will be graded according to the outlining and how the outline relate to the essay, the exposition of ideas and coherence, as well as paragraphing and the number of paragraphs. Spelling mistakes and grammar is really important, so pay attention to that. Handwriting and punctuation. Make your handwriting legible. Pay attention to these points. 20 marks will be deducted from the total mark of changing the format. You have to stick to the format we taught you. Off-point topics, which means when we want you to write about a specific topic and you wrote about a totally different one, you will receive a 0. 5 marks to be deducted from the outline if the ideas are not used in the topic. If you wrote the perfect outline and then you did not use any of its ideas in the essay, you will lose 5 marks. Now, let's take a look at the translation. There are some tips that you need to follow while translating a sentence. Translate the meaning and not the words, and avoid word-to-word translation. Don't leave spaces for words you don't know, because we're translating the meaning. Look for keywords that make a difference. Pay attention to the last tip. Let's take a look at this sentence. Let's translate it into good English. بإمكان قارورة زجاج محكمة الإغلاق وتحتوي على رسالة أن تنجو من الأعاصير التي تغرق السفن. Now, reading this sentence might seem a little bit challenging, but paying attention to the keywords will make it easy to translate. Well-sealed bottles with messages inside would be able to survive hurricanes that can sink ships. It's very clear and very easy. محكمة الإغلاق will be translated as well-sealed. You see? Now, other sentence. إن كانت حالة الرياح والتيارات المائية جيدة، تستطيع قارورة الزجاج أن تقطع ما يقارب 200 كيلومتر في اليوم. How am I going to translate it? Look for keywords and understand the meaning. If wind and current conditions are good, a bottle can travel nearly 200 kilometers a day. You see how informative this sentence is? تيارات مائية, current. In this episode, we learned all about persuasive essay and how to write a persuasive essay, as well as how to translate perfectly. That's it for today's episode. Thank you for watching.